I paid almost $10,000 to have Royal Caribbean's VIP services on one of its older ships, and it really surprised me just how convenient things can be. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. I stay in all sorts of cabins, from small insides to big suites. I try to just encompass the total experience for all of you, and Royal Caribbean recently released a new service that I just had to try because I was probably as curious as you were. How good is it really? Now, Royal Caribbean is offering now some of its VIP offerings on some of its older ships. If you're not familiar with the Royal Genie service, it's something that Royal Caribbean has offered on its big ships for a number of years. You have to be staying in what's called a Star Class suite, and then you get, among other things, the services of the Royal Genie. A Royal Genie isn't quite a butler, but it's something a mix of that and some other things as well. It's basically for somebody who has ever thought to themselves, I'd pay money not to have to wait in line for this, or I'd pay money to make this a whole lot easier. And if you're one of those people, then this is what the service is all about. The new Royal Genie package is only available right now on Independence of the Seas and Freedom of the Seas. I think it's a test. Royal hasn't said as much, but I think they're planning on basically getting it ready on these ships and then rolling out to other ships in the fleet. You get the services of Royal Genie, and it can be used with any stateroom, even a tiny inside cabin. This gets you front of the line access, just about every cost included, and white glove service that no other passengers on your ship will enjoy. Now, Royal Caribbean offered it beginning in April, and I booked it for my 8-night Northern European cruise on Independence of the Seas. I really was curious, how effective would it be on a smaller ship, given that I've tried it on big ships? The new option is non-refundable and non-transferable, so there's no way to cancel after you book. Trust me, I tried. It costs $300 per adult per day and $200 per child per day. Guests under 6 are complimentary. For my family of 4 over 8 nights, it cost me $9,600 in total. And yes, I paid for it all myself. I wasn't comped by Royal Caribbean for this. The benefits of a Genie are numerous. You get the deluxe beverage package included, the Royal Refresher package for anyone who's not of a legal drinking age, complimentary specialty dining at all the restaurants on board, complimentary room service, Voom internet packages for every single person, complimentary stateroom mini bar beverages, including Coca-Cola, alcohol, etc., in your room, still and sparkling water bottle delivery, complimentary Starbucks, VIP luggage service for arrival and departure, VIP welcome food and beverage amenities, suite lounge access, complimentary ice cream at Sugar Beach, reserved seating in the main theater, designated time at the flow rider, rock climbing wall, and ice skating, complimentary stateroom movies, and bath amenities that are upgraded in your cabin. Now, you're going to ask, what exactly does the Genie do, though? When you get a Genie, it's essentially the easy button from your cruise from start to finish. My Genie was Ty, and her job was to make my cruise as fun, magical, and easy as possible. And she basically said as much when we first met her. A few weeks before the cruise began, I got an email introducing her and her services. Just like the Royal Genie on Royal Caribbean's big ships, these pre-cruise emails are meant to introduce and get to know the Genie while sharing your personal preferences. I find the pre-cruise communication part isn't that important, quite frankly. I'll share my specialty dining requests and which beverages I want in my cabin, but the real fun begins when you get on board. Your Genie meets you in the cruise terminal, and this is when everything becomes instantly easier. They escort you on board, and it's at this point they'll do almost anything to ensure you have a better cruise. Now, I kind of thought about what are some things that go beyond what the list I gave you earlier of what the Genie would do. And some of these are simple, and some of these are not so simple things. I'm just going to rattle a bunch of them off to give you an example, kind of a playbook, if you will, keeping in mind all Genies are, different. They solved multiple billing issues on my account. I didn't have to go to guest services for it. Had the IT department install a repeater in my cabin when I casually mentioned the internet signal was weak. Signed my kids up for ice skating, skipping the line in the sign-up process. Reserved seats in the show for the Royal Theater for any shows in there. Cut the line when we were disembarking the ship at a port of call. Called elevators for us so we didn't have to wait. Decorated my stateroom door, kept my cabin stocked with alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, had Starbucks coffee delivered to my room every morning, and then kept a steady stream of snacks delivered to my cabin. There's many more than this, but this is all I could really remember specifically from this trip to give you an example of the services. Now, you'll be messaging your Genie through WhatsApp, but they'll greet you around the ship. Most Genies will wait for you at the entrance to a restaurant or a theater to escort you in, get you into a reserved seat, and attend any request you have. Every Genie has their own style, which means that each one leans into online or in-person communication more of that, and they'll like to surprise you as well. Ty decorated both our cabins, something I've never had a Genie do. She also spent more time with us during the day to get to know us better. She actually hung out a lot more than most Genies do. Ultimately, the job of the Genie is to remove obstacles and include every possible add-on you can imagine. There are 2 areas the Genie cannot help. First is their services only work on the ship. Even in the cruise terminal, they can't assist. And when you're off the ship, well, that's also another time you can't use them. The other area, which is a surprise to me, is they physically can't deliver food. Ty said she wasn't allowed to physically deliver food or drinks. If I wanted anything, she could totally arrange to have it delivered to the room by the room service team. It was kind of weird because on other ships, I've definitely had the genie bring me food directly, but for whatever reason, she said she couldn't do it. So I paid $10,000 for a genie service, using for 8 nights on board Independence Seas. Was really worth it. And really, the Royal Genie package is the very definition of a splurge and not a dollar for dollar value. If you're looking at the price of this and it's simply out of your price range, no matter how much you like the convenience of it, it's not for you. This package is meant for somebody who values service and convenience over anything else. I think Royal Caribbean is offering this to a certain clientele that truly fit into that category, because up until now, if you wanted that kind of service, you could only go on Royal Caribbean's biggest and newest ships. I've had a Royal Genie on a few other ships over the years, and the experience on Independence was just as good as those. So if you're worried that's a watered down version, fear not. Ty did just about anything and everything we asked of her to make it easier. I love being able to text her my coffee order and avoid waiting in a long line at Cafe Promenade. When our ship was delayed getting to Rotterdam, there was a giant line of passengers waiting to disembark, but Ty escorted us to the very front of it, and we bypassed everybody, dirty looks and all. The only disappointment is that you really can't take full advantage of what the Royal Genie can do, given your cabin limitations. I was in a balcony cabin, and there just wasn't enough room to truly enjoy the Genie perks that you'd find in a mega suite. When I'm staying in the Ultimate Family Suite, or a Royal Loft Suite, or one of the giant suites, there's so much space there. There's dining rooms, there's enormous balconies, and you can better take advantage of the food options in your cabin. But here, it felt like a hindrance. Like at one point we did have food delivered for like a meal on our balcony, but the table is small, there's only 2 chairs. It just doesn't work that well for what we needed for our family. So it just seemed like we kind of gave up on some of the benefits of having the Genie services in our suite, or in this case, a cabin. At $300 per person per day, I'm not denying at all that it's a very, very pricey upgrade. Now you can make an argument, if you're playing devil's advocate here, that if you're already going to buy the unlimited drink package, the key, and unlimited dining package, that covers probably at least half the daily cost, and then it's not an absurd cost as it may look on paper. I think Royal Caribbean would be the first to admit this isn't an offering for everyone out there. It's something that caters to certain families that prioritize their comfort and makes the cruise as easy as humanly possible. Now, I loved my week with Ty, and it was so nice getting treated like a VIP from start to finish. In fact, we did a back-to-back cruise, and on the second sailing, I didn't have the Genie services, and it definitely was an adjustment going back to, regular life. Now, granted, I do have some other benefits because I'm a Pinnacle member, and I know Royal Caribbean well enough to be able to know the ins and outs of things, so I wasn't totally lost on it, but it definitely made the cruise so much more enjoyable having the Genie services. When you stay in a suite where you have the services of Royal Genie, there's no doubt in my mind it makes the cruise more enjoyable. That isn't to say you can have a good time without these services, it just adds on to it. In the same way, I've used this example before, that if you stay in first class on an airplane, if you stay in first class, you get a lot more space, a lot more amenities, a lot more services, but you still get to the same place at the same time as people that are staying in coach. Likewise, on some level, I feel like this is what the Royal Genie service is all about. If you're somebody who's simply looking at budget and can't afford it or unwilling to spend it, quite frankly, that's okay. You really don't need these things. We share so many tips here on this channel on how to achieve a lot of these similar services on your own or simply get around them and do it on your own. But if you are somebody that values being able to get it all delivered to you, have it all done for you, and just make your cruise as relaxing as humanly possible, this is what the service is all about. I actually liked it way more than I expected, even if the ship doesn't have as many venues compared to the newer ships that maybe the Royal Genie service would have been able to fully take advantage of. Nonetheless, I think that it's an interesting proposition. And I think that if you're going to be somebody who's going to be looking at some of the prices of some of those add-ons already, like the drink package, dining package, the key, and some other add-ons you may be rolling in there anyway, it might just be a splurge worth taking. There you go. There's my review of the Royal Genie package on Royal Caribbean. I know some of you are going to think I'm crazy, and I'm sure in the comments there's already a lot of people out there thinking that you are absolutely insane for spending this much money on it, but I wanted to try it out. I wanted to share with all of you what it's like, because inevitably, people ask what it's like, and if I can't experience it, well, there you go. And by booking it on all my future cruises, probably not, but it is something that I wanted to roll out. Give it a try and see how it worked out. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the Royal Genie service. Have you done Star Class suites before? And is this something that would be interesting to you to be able to go on a ship now that maybe doesn't have the full Star Class experience but does offer the Genie services? Let me know in the comments below. While you're down below our video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know of a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.